Alright, welcome to a very different video. This one will be of Magicka. Let's see, so I've watched a lot of videos recently about well, not a lot. I watched some videos recently about this game, and they've been teaching you stuff like which spells are the most powerful and how to guard from other spells, but they all hold fragments of it rather than the actual thing. So I'm going to tell you more. I'm going to start at the very basic, the most basic, and then I will move up as it needs to. I'll probably put annotations on this video for the levels. I'll do like easy, medium, and then like hard, or so. Well, not like they're. Let's do basic, intermediate, expert. Yeah, like that. Okay, so first of all, for basic spells, well, okay. Well, this is basic techniques. Okay, so this is very basic. Okay, middle is to cast on yourself, so you use shield cast on yourself if you have a shield on yourself. Right click, cast it in front of you, and shift click, right click, cast it all around you. You can shift left click, and it goes onto your sword. Now if you attack with your sword, it's like an attack with sword. Like that. Okay, so, now I've been out to the actual spells. First one is armor. If you use shield, and then you just put it on yourself normally, you have this kind of armor. It blocks, you cannot be killed. You cannot be one-hit killed with this, even if you have no shield. If you're like one little thing of shield left, no attack can kill you. You're completely invulnerable until this goes down. The only problem is, let's see if I can let myself on fire. 1 second. Is that if I let myself on fire, I can't heal myself with the shield on. I have to get everything good with the shield. So one of the ways to do this is to go like this, and then you can use it again to completely nullify it. Whoops. That's not what I meant to do. You can also use the Nullify Spell, but, you know. Which is, by the way, SE space, which kills everything. If I would have a shield, kill. Okay, so, the next thing is Stone Armor, which you use shield and then stone or earth, or whatever you like to call it. I'm pretty sure it's called earth. Use it on yourself. Now you have armor, and you got the stone on your head. It doesn't actually do any damage to you. The largest problem with this is that... the largest problem with this is that when you, use it on yourself and you, if you're on fire, you have this arm, you can't heal yourself, so you have to go like, you have to do the double shield thing, and then just heal yourself normally. Or, I mean, that is it, or you can just use, if you're on fire, you can just use water, and that'll get rid of the fire, but you won't be able to actually heal yourself. So, it's best to, just, get rid of all your shields and heal yourself, rather than that. A good way to become safe is to shield area and then charge it all the way up, or however much you need to. Usually all the way up is best. Sometimes you can't accomplish this, but if you grab the shield staff from Harbinger in the inn, it's in the level cabinet as you're leaving the door. If you grab it from there, you have a shield staff that makes like twice as effective boosting shields, which is very helpful. So anyway, let's see what other... Okay, so if you press shield and then put any element, you are automatically invulnerable to that element. So if I put Arcane, I cannot be hurt by Arcane. However, it only lasts 12 seconds. You can add more charges of Arcane, and it'll last a little bit longer. Not, like, 4 times longer, I don't believe, but, you know. You can also mix these, so you can put multiple elements. So if I did Arcane and Lightning, I'll be invulnerable to both, and it'll flash between both to show you that. One of the 2 most helpful shields are Arcane Energy and Cold, or Arcane Energy and Fire. Water can be helpful, but you can't put it on with any of the other things like you can't put on the water shield with the fire shield, which is one of the most helpful shields after all. Oops. Okay. And since the fire shield is one of the best shields, along with the cold shield, which is also very helpful, but usually you don't use the water shield because you can't use fire shield with it. So usually what you want to do when you're shielding yourself is you do EASF and cast it on yourself. Also, doesn't matter order, so you can just press all the buttons at once and all do the same thing. That's very important. Or you can do the one with cold, which is also helpful for one of the spells I'll teach you later. So basic damaging spells. Okay, so D makes a tiny little rock, 2 slightly bigger, and 5 go forward. Now if you charge this all the way up, I'd have to find something to kill and show you, but if you charge this all the way up, it does a ton of damage. However, you can get it to do even more damage by using the, let's see, by making ice with water and cold. So make 4 of those, and then put a rock onto it. And now I'll show it over here so you can see, but it looks like a, like ball of spikes, and I believe it does somewhere in the neighborhood of 900 or 9,000 damage, which pretty much kills everything in one hit. Or, well, most normal monsters anyway. So yeah. Now, area spell is, okay, so you're surrounded by a bunch of, like, weakish things. You can get all ices and area cast, and it makes a huge thing of just this. To make it more powerful, you can add things like energy, which makes it a lot more powerful, or things like arcane. Or both, you know, like that. Now for things like, shields. Okay, so if you cast a rock wall, the enemies will actually usually attack the wall rather than you, so you can use that as a distraction. The more rock you add, the more powerful the wall. Now, you can also make ice walls like that, which don't last very long, but that's also useful for something that's very, very powerful. Now, you can also use ice to add armor to yourself, which, while it doesn't protect you nearly as well as the rock armor does, it hurts the enemies when they attack you. Especially if they're, like, jumping at you or charging at you, then usually it does around 1,600 damage to them, which is very helpful. So, yeah. Let's see. A good way to heal yourself, because this is really relatively slow, and you can add more heal things, and it does the same amount of healing as one. But, if you go like this, you get a ton of health from it. Or, if you do ice and healing all around you, then they'll automatically explode and you get like 6,000 health, which is fully healed. So yeah. Now, let's see. Okay, now to put attacks onto your sword. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention beam spells. Arcane, on its own, is not all that powerful. However, you can add pretty much anything to it, and it'll become better. The more arcane you add to something, the longer the beam will last. Or if you have the Daemon Arm staff, it will, or Demon Arm, whatever, it'll last forever, and even with just one arcane, that's all because of the staff. But in this one, eventually, I'll show you that. And if you add water to your, arcane, it'll actually push them back. You add, like, something like electricity, it'll electrocute them as they're coming at you, which makes them move slower and electrocuted and inch away. Now, if you add fire to it, it burns them, which is pretty good, I gotta say. Now, the most effective beam is, QF, which makes steam, QF, and then 1 arcane, or 2 arcanes, I believe, and then electricity. That, I believe, pushes them back, electrocutes them, and does a ton of damage all at the same time. Now, alternatively, you can only use one of these and put fire on it, so it'll burn them while it's doing that. This does the most damage for each attack in the game, which is very nice. Now, if there's a ton of people around you, and you're, like, getting killed from everywhere, use this, and it'll knock everybody around you down, so you have time to do something else. Now, arcane and electricity is pretty good for area attacks, because it does a bit of damage. I'm not going to go out, because because these attacks are not going to show you at this level, but, so, use this, kills everything, well, not everything, but it does a lot of damage. This, also good. Now, for other area attacks, you know, you can use pretty much anything. You use fire, cold freezes everything around you. And, yeah. Now, lightning doesn't have very much range, and it increases with every lightning you add to maximum, more or less that. If you add fire to it, it freezes, or it burns them. If you get ice, it freezes them. So, and you can't add water to it. But if you do get some, like, make somebody wet first, then they'll be hurt extra by lightning, which makes perfect sense. Let's see what else. Oh, I should add, if you put a water shield onto yourself, and then you make it rain, that's not rain, there, and then you make it rain, you won't get wet. Same thing if you just cast a normal shield onto yourself, you still won't get wet, but it, you know, deteriorates a lot faster. You can also mix these shields with things like rock armor, so if you could do something like this, well, no, you actually couldn't do something like that, but, because of the rock. Oh, you can mix it with ice armor, though. You can mix most of these with rock armor, but, you know, the thing you can't mix is obviously electricity. So if I do this, I'm still pretty well protected against pretty much everything, except for electricity, but really, the main damages are fire and physical, which is what Earth protects from. So, that's pretty much the basics. Now, ice is very helpful. You can launch these, you can spam this really easily. One other thing you can do with this is that you can make ice, just add like 3 or something, and then put some electricity onto it, and that does a lot more damage. Or you can add some ice, and put some electricity and arcane onto it. And this is pretty devastating. The only thing is it's none too accurate, so... But there's a bunch of people approaching you, it can be helpful. So, now, let's see, this is my favorite armor. I use 3 rock, and 1 of these, because I usually don't fight things that require me to have this armor on, or this armor on, but if I do. Now, okay, so mines. ARSE is one of the most effective mines, because it pretty much kills them in every way imaginable. It freezes them, after electrocutes them, after it blows them up, which is pretty good. I'm not going to walk onto them, because but, well, actually, yeah, I should be fine now. Okay, so, and now all around me, I mean, I'll still get thrown into the air, but I'll actually be fine. Yeah, see? Haste back. Yeah, notice that all my damage came from hitting the ground, not from actually being blown up by the mines. Yeah, that's what those do, except for they electrocute you and freeze you as well as blow you up, and then crash you into the ground. Which makes it altogether a very, very effective spell. Now, if you have a shield up, I'm going to beef this up a little bit, you can attack them from outside of it using several different methods. The most effective ones all include shield. So if I were to make a shield, and then, let's say, grab the mines, put those outside, now those mines would blow up on the people, but the problem is they actually have to walk into it. So to get around this, you can add an ice element to the mines, and now when you put that outside, it does a huge amount of damage. I would show you, but that would be extremely annoying to respawn and all, so I won't. Maybe I'll show you later in a different segment, but that is one of this is pretty much the strongest attack. This one kills almost everything. It's QRESAR, and bam. It also does a bunch of damage. When you use ice things like this, it does damage when it comes out to them as well. So using this spell, the QRESAR, or whatever combination you want on this, yeah, not intentional. You use this though, you're impervious to it, so that's pretty helpful. This is great for multiplayer because a normal person gets killed by this thing automatically, unless they have this armor on, which does nothing. But there are several ways to get around that kind of thing. But yeah, that is the majority of the basics of combat. Now these things are helpful if you want to just kind of be luffed if you're being attacked like in melee, which very rarely happens unless you're a single player. Which, I mean, is all good, but this is good because you can put this onto your sword and throw it at people, which is very helpful. So back to attack from inside a shield. So other things you can do is you can combine cold with rock, and you can put it on your sword by shift left clicking, and then you can go like this, and then sense it away from cold. You can also do this with fire. Sense it away from fire, if I can do it right. Yeah, there we go. And that'll set things on fire. However, it's usually more effective to use shield, 2 rocks, 2 fire, grab this, and throw it at them. Or you can use 3 fire, just any combination of these is pretty effective. Another very effective thing is to use the ice rocks, and then put electricity onto it. Now I'll put that on my sword, and it electrocutes people that come near you, which is another reason why this is so deadly. You can also put this on your sword, which makes it even more effective, because if there's somebody coming at you, throw it at them, it blows up on this and usually kills them. Because it does damage coming up, so it's usually best if you actually hit them with it, then it electrocutes them before it blows up, which sends them flying, and then they hit the ground. So usually it does, I think, 1,000 damage when it comes up, more or less. I think a few hundred when it's electrocuting them, and then like 2,500 more when it blows up. And then, you know, if they hit the ground and whatnot. So it's a very effective thing to use. This armor is great when there's a bunch of things attacking you, because usually a bunch of them will be killed on the ice armor, and they'll not take very much damage because you have all the rock armor on. So yeah, I can just drop a kick and pull it and then it's still fine. And this armor is very easily removable, and if you just keep on going like EDDDQR, EDDDQR, it'll actually do damage to the things that are around you. Which it doesn't do very much, only does a few hundred, but it's still something. So, now for getting, another tactic, besides just using a bunch of rocks to knock people down, is to use a bunch of water to push them away. They go flying. And that can do a little bit of damage if they hit the walls and whatnot. But, now if you add a bunch of fire to it, or steam rather, they go even farther. Now if you're fighting like, so if you add this and you add Arcane, it sends them flying and does damage. But if you're fighting zombies, you obviously add life and whatnot. So that is nice and effective. Water's ability to push things is extremely helpful, as is cold's abilities to freeze things. And fire's ability to burn things. Really, those are very helpful. Electricity is only helpful for usually in like used with other things rather than by itself. By itself, it's really not all that powerful. I mean, it can be, but it's usually not. So this is the most effective, well, the most rate electricity all around you. This is forwards, which isn't very far. You go like that, and you go like this, they actually can't approach you because people are getting hit backwards. If you mix them with this, then they're electrocuted means they go from here to here to here really slowly as they're getting damaged heavily by you. And usually, it's good to walk into a battle when you have something on your sword. So, for example, if I want to put this one onto my sword, now I can walk into battle. When I see something, I can shoot this at it, hold my shield, and then I can do whatever I want while they're getting burnt by it. Then I can walk outside, go like this, yeah, and then blow them up. Usually that kills most things pretty effectively, which is pretty nice. So, really, there's no purpose for going like this, or like this. Because this only does a tiny bit of damage, and it's not really all that strong. I'll probably destroy with my sword, even. Yeah. And even if I don't, it just goes away in like 5 seconds. This one's more helpful if you're going to use something like that, but this isn't really that helpful. Really, if you want to shield around yourself, use this. Because this is rechargeable as well. So... But anyway, now onto the actual magics. What's very helpful is QFASA. Lightning Bolt. It does 5,000 damage, which is devastating. It kills most things. And if not, use 2. It's very easily spammable. So that's it. The configuration is a bit harder to do. It's QFFFQFFQ. That's configuration, which sends out a wave of fire. Let's see, rain is QQF. And you can use the armor once again to make sure you don't get wet. Or you can just build a gigantic shield around yourself, and you still not get wet. Or you can build a tiny shield around yourself, and you just don't get wet. But, you know, whatever. Oh, rocks. I can't believe I forgot to mention rocks. Okay, so obviously there's some basic things like this. But then there's also, if you add Arcane to the rock, it blows up when it hits. It's huge. Especially if you had lots of Arcane. Whoops, not that much. Now this is a very devastating spell. No, I did it wrong. Oh, it's supposed to be cold. Okay, so this is good. It does a lot of damage. And it's very scary. Okay, not hurting myself. But really, what you do is you press ARSE and D at the same time. Okay, I did it at the same time. Yeah, they're at the same time. And then you just right click. Okay, so that is good. Another thing is these fireballs. Except for don't fire them close to you, or you don't get set on fire too. Other ways to set things on fire include using earth and fire, and it creates like molten lava stuff, like that. You can go like this, freeze them, this, and it'll like. I'm not sure what that does. I don't think I've ever used that one before, but, you know. And this just does pretty much plain damage. You can't mix it with lightning, obviously, but, yeah, that's more or less, I think, the basics. Not the basics, but that's pretty much, like, some of the most effective spells. My basic tips to you are, wear armor, whatever kind you want. This or this are usually the best options in multiplayer. In single player, this is usually the best option. And let's see what else is there. Oh, keep a spell on your sword. So I usually keep this spell on my sword. Just because of how effective it is. But you know, you can keep whatever you want on your sword, and then always be ready, know your magics. So, if, for example, if I wanted to raise some dead, which is very helpful, but like that, which is fast, it's QRDSR. And then raise a few dead things, or undead things, rather. So, that's very, very good. And, yeah, obviously I'm healed by the Arcane, but if I wanted to, that's not the right thing, still. So, if you're facing undead with this, I'll actually show you what it does, except for I'm gonna exchange this for, something else, but... yeah, that's what it does. Pretty good, huh? Teleport over here and grab my staff. Oh, that's why I'm moving so slowly. Okay, didn't mean to set myself on fire. Where did my staff go? I had a staff over here that automatically revived my zombies. Oh, whatever. So, yeah. It's very effective, and usually you can kill most things, especially if you're fighting things like any wizards, because those usually don't have a whole lot of health. So fighting those using the ultimate, like, ice death thing, usually pretty good. That's it for this video, so thanks for watching, and goodbye. Hello and welcome to Magicka. Now I'll be showing you some of the spells that I was telling you about earlier, starting with the death spell thingamajigger, which I'm going to guard myself from first. And obviously it doesn't damage him, what the heck? Oh, because he had my aura. Yeah, like that. Now it also, I'll show you this one. I'm sure you've already used this one, but if you haven't, this is what it does. It pulverizes things. Now for the Epic Beam spell. It would have set him on fire if I had given it more time, which would have been hard to do because I don't. Oh, steam. Okay. Now, okay. Show you the water beam. This isn't that. Okay. I need to go find some worse people. I don't know. Okay, so let's see. Mines.
Realize, never know what it cannot feel.
Yeah, it does that. Also quite fun. Yeah, okay, so those are pretty effective. You can also use these in a sword, like I showed you earlier. Now this guy's still left, so I have to kill him with something. Let's see if I can hit him with this thing, because when I was trying earlier, I could not manage to do it for whatever reason. Yeah, I don't know. You know what, I'm gonna go run out here. Grab these and this ball. Yeah, I know you're about to get shot. Yeah, we know he didn't make it. Oh, I forgot to tell you about more of the sword combinations. Okay, so for sword combinations, if you put ice on your sword, it makes it a really long sword. If you put healing or arcane on your sword, it also makes it similarly long. But yeah, that's what it does. 10,000 damage. That's what I was trying to show you earlier. It required a good deal of doing. Now... Oh, shut up. Yeah, usually if somebody's on you, you can use water to just throw them off. So that's an option, obviously. If you put arcane on your sword like this, it makes it a long sword. I'll show you. I'll go find somebody to use it on. Oh, there, hello. Yeah, 310 damage. Usually not all too effective. Although I suppose that could probably have more armor than most people probably do. But yeah, that's what I was trying to show you. So, I'll go back. Kill him. Yeah, excuse me. Why didn't those blow up? Yeah, lots of damage. I also killed my buddies too, but you know, who cares? So, now, this spell. No, you know, I'll use the other one. Yeah, I know, I just killed my person. Okay, so I'll give myself some armor so I can save her from that. Okay, now, QRQRQRD. Yeah, 4,000 damage. Probably because he has more resistance than most people do, but... this is a very... What you can do is you can just spam Earth, and it usually kills things pretty dang effectively pretty quick. Now, that's all good and nice. Yeah, you don't want to use haste a lot. That's because they don't have teleport in this game, but...
Hey, listen.
See, what else did I say?
The
sword, which is the ice sword. Well, I guess it'll be an ice axe in this, but I usually just call it sword regardless of what it actually is. Nothing to kill back here. Oh, I need to find something to kill. Aha! There thou art! Yeah, pretty effective. Now, Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt. Not the red Thunderbolt! AASSS. This is a very easy way to beat almost everybody by Thunderbolting them. Oh, by the way, people in armor take extra damage from electricity, in case you didn't know that already. And, yeah. I just want to show you confirmation. Gosh dang it. QFQFQFQ. QFFF. Oh, right. QFQFQQ. There we go! Configuration! Gigantic wave of fire. Okay. QFFFQ. Okay. So yeah. Now, I'll just show you the rocks. I'll just do a task with inside the shield. Next enemies I find. So there's gotta be a guy back here somewhere. Never mind. There's not. Oh, there. People. I'm boosting my shield a bunch. I'm gonna go use my rocks on them. Oh, bloody armor around people. Dang armor! Great, there's still more bloody armor. There's a normal person. These are the rocks. They set things on fire, which is usually pretty effective, and they also kind of block you from being attacked. Now using the fire from inside of the shield. Oh my god. Fire from inside of the shield! It's not working. Okay, it's too cold, it's not working earlier. That's what you do. Because mine's inside the shield. So adding more arcane makes them fly further. Like that. Oh wait, I can push him back now. Okay, so this beam, I'm pushing him back. Probably would have pushed him back to give it more time, but I didn't. So that's pretty much the basics of combat. So thanks for watching and goodbye. What the heck?